Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon have a good relationship in The Phantom Menace. They communicate well, and they are very fond of each other. However, that wasn't always the case. There was a time where their relationship was very rocky. From the time Obi-Wan is a Padawan, all the way until 4 years later, his bond with his master was pretty bad. Eventually it got better, as we got to see in The Phantom Menace. This rough patch between this master and apprentice is for a few reasons, starting with the bad communication with each other. While on a mission against the Hutts on Teth, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon were trying to escape. Qui-Gon told Obi-Wan to get the door, and then Obi-Wan slashed the console door. But that's not what Qui-Gon meant. He meant to take care of the Gamorrean guards that were at the door. This got them into some trouble, but luckily they managed to escape. When Qui-Gon went back to report to the council, they mentioned how this understanding worries them, as it isn't the first time that something like this has happened. Both Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan tried to blame themselves, yet both must adapt. While talking with the council, Qui-Gon wasn't sure if they would ask if he wanted to reassign Obi-Wan to a different master. However, that didn't happen, but something similar did. They then asked Qui-Gon if he wanted to be a part of the council. This would mean that he would have to give up training Obi-Wan. He would kill two birds with one stone. He of course took the time to think and meditate on it, but he didn't tell Obi-Wan about it. Later that night, Obi-Wan came into Qui-Gon's quarters, and he got a bit mad at Qui-Gon for making him study the prophecies. Obi-Wan had this built-up hatred of Qui-Gon in his mind, and he was just expressing it now. Qui-Gon was big into prophecies, but Obi-Wan disliked them. They were so vague and made no sense. On top of that, there was no telling if they were even real. Each master gives their students unique things to do. For example, one of Obi-Wan's friends, Pri, would go into underdeveloped worlds and connect with the animals there, almost similar to what Ezra does. Another one of his friends would explore the galaxy, but Obi-Wan was stuck taking trips to the archives for no reason. It just seemed like a waste of time, and it was really boring. This is another thing that made Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's connection a bit worse. The next day, the duo were called to the Chancellor's office for a briefing of their next mission. In the meeting, the Chancellor mentions how she knows how this mission is poor timing, since Qui-Gon had just been asked to join the council. This got Obi-Wan furious, as his master never told him about this. This would mean that Obi-Wan would be reassigned, and Qui-Gon didn't even bother telling him. He was just being dumped, and wasn't even worth saying anything about it. Of course he would be mad, as most of us would. Obi-Wan stormed out of there after the meeting, understandably. I'm sure that if you were in his shoes, you would have done the same thing. He went to the Padawan's dojo, and Qui-Gon met him there, as he knew where he would be. Qui-Gon tried to explain himself, but it really didn't work well. Qui-Gon messed up, and he knew it. Obi-Wan then got mad about the fact that Qui-Gon only teaches him the basics and doesn't want him to progress to other things. He felt like Anakin did in Attack of the Clones.
It's all Obi-Wan's fault. He's jealous. He's holding me back.
However, Qui-Gon told him that the basics are what's really important, and those are the most useful things in the battle. Those will protect you the most, and mastering them is a must. Obi-Wan accepted Qui-Gon's answer, and then realized that Qui-Gon was actually trying to protect him this entire time. He did this to help Obi-Wan, and not bring him down. For once there was something positive out of this. The mission that they had received was to go to Pidgel and to ensure the signing of a treaty. The only problem was that Qui-Gon had gotten a vision, where the ceremony was going to be attacked, and that he should stop the signing of the treaty. He tried to tell Obi-Wan about his vision, but Obi-Wan didn't understand. He thought that it was just a dream, and it didn't find it valid. It was the will of the council to have this treaty signed. However, Qui-Gon was the representative who would co-sign it. So Obi-Wan went behind his back and contacted the council by himself. He told them about everything that happened, and everyone apart from Yoda thought that Qui-Gon had gone crazy. They then appointed Obi-Wan to co-sign the treaty. On the day of the ceremony, the 14-year-old princess, who had now become queen, turned against the treaty and started firing blaster bolts. Qui-Gon's vision had come true, and Obi-Wan was in danger. Qui-Gon tried to help his apprentice, but there wasn't much he could do. But Obi-Wan managed to hold his own before Qui-Gon got to him. After this moment, they built a stronger bond with each other. Obi-Wan now saw that Qui-Gon had been right in trusting the Force, and that he really did care about Obi-Wan. He declined his invitation to the council and stuck with his apprentice. They understood each other better, which meant their communication was now also better. Of course it wasn't perfect, but nothing really ever is. The only thing that remained was the fact that Obi-Wan still sided more with the council, and he didn't understand why Qui-Gon always had to be against them. However, he now respected and trusted Qui-Gon, so he went along with his master's decisions. Not everything is all good and perfect in life. Some things might appear good on the outside, but it took time and effort and internal work to make everything good. Just because something seems to not be working now, doesn't mean you can't make it work and that you should just get rid of it. Instead, stick through the hard times, and the world will be so good that you would go through those hard times again and again if you had to. But that is it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel to not miss out on any new great Star Wars content. If you want to see more videos like this, then click the video on screen. But apart from that, have a great day.